Saturday, June 9th, 1983. England was hosting the Cricket World Cup. 8 countries from all over the world were going to put their best foot forward to compete. The British Broadcasting Corporation, or the BBC, had sole broadcasting rights over all of the matches that were taking place in England. These matches were being televised and distributed to homes all over the world, and multiple matches were happening simultaneously. Only the top 2 teams of the 2 groups were going to go to the semi-finals. But then on June 18th, something unexpected happened. The BBC went on strike. As a result of this, the BBC had a choice to make. Since they could only provide limited coverage, they decided to choose the more significant match to be covered. As a result, the West Indies versus India match was not recorded. The BBC chose to record and televise the West Indies versus Australia match. While Australia went on to win, the Zimbabwe versus India match proved to be the more exciting one. It was a hard-fought match, leading to Kapil Dev making his iconic 175 not out against Zimbabwe. This firmly put India as a serious contender, and Zimbabwe lost by 31 runs. Everyone knows what happened next. India went on to win the 1983 World Cup, and history was made. But there's another story lurking here. A story of a different kind of underdog. One that's been biding its time for over 40 years. On Friday the 13th of February 2026, Zimbabwe played against Australia. This time the game was not just televised, it was streamed all across the world. Australia won the toss and chose to bowl. Zimbabwe raked up 169 runs for the Aussies to chase. And when they came to bat, the Zimbabwean team brought their underdog spirit with them. In the last over, with just 3 balls to go, Zimbabwe knocked out Australia, former champions, from the tournament. It was the first major upset in the T20 World Cup of 2026. So, in honor of Zimbabwe, let me tell you a folktale that I think contributed to their underdog spirit. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, we know that it's Zimbabwe, there was a tortoise, and the tortoise was walking along its way when it came across an elephant. Now the elephant didn't see the small tortoise and was about to crush him when the tortoise screamed, "Hey Mr. Elephant, stop, 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 you might crush me." But the elephant was very boastful and said, "Oh, you tiny thing, just get out of my way." And the elephant took its heavy paw and stepped on the tortoise. But the tortoise was stronger than he looked, and it survived. Looking up at the majestic beast, it told him, "Don't boast, Mr. Elephant. I'm as strong as you are." "Oh, is that so?" replied the elephant. "Yes. Why don't you come to the hill the next morning and see for yourself?" the tortoise replied. Now the next day the tortoise went to the watering hole where he met the hippopotamus. The hippopotamus was about to go back in when the tortoise stopped him and said, "Hey Mr. Hippopotamus, I think I'm as strong as you are. Do you want to bet? Maybe we can play a tug of war to see who's stronger." And he baited the hippopotamus. The hippopotamus laughed at this idea, looking at this small creature, challenging him to a game of tug of war to see who was stronger. But to humor the little animal, he said, "Yeah, sure, okay." But the little tortoise was very clever. As the hippopotamus made its way into the water, the tortoise produced a long rope and he gave it to the hippopotamus to hold it in its mouth. He said, "Hold on tight to it, I'll just be back." And then the tortoise took the other end of the rope and ran up to the hill where the elephant had been waiting. When he reached the top of the hill, the elephant was very impatient and angry, waiting for the tortoise. So the tortoise gave the elephant the other end of the rope and said, "When I say pull, that's when the game starts." Saying this, the little tortoise ran back down, found the middle of the rope and screamed, "Pull!" The tortoise watched as the elephant on one hand started to pull with all its strength. Feeling the tug at the other end, the hippopotamus started to pull at the other end. These two majestic giants were now battling fiercely. in a game all designed by the little tortoise. After a while of pulling and pulling and pulling, both these large animals got tired and dropped the rope. And they finally admitted that the tortoise was probably as strong as they are. That was a folktale from Zimbabwe, and you're listening to Suki Kooky telling you the story. If you like folktales from around the world, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. June 9th.